Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, we'll be talking about a vintage ocean liner, the SS Kronprinzessin Cecilie. She was a German liner with an incredible history. As the last of the 4 ships of the Kaiser class, she was also the very last German liner to be built with 4 funnels. She sailed the transatlantic route between Bremen and New York until the outbreak of World War I. Eventually, she was seized and handed over to the United States Navy, where she was renamed the USS Mount Vernon. She remained under the American flag until September 1940, when she was finally scrapped in Boston, Massachusetts. Hello everybody, it's Jamie from Old Shipping Lines, and in today's video we'll cover the full story of the Kronprinzessin Cecilie. From her construction, to her years of German service, her time under the American flag, and finally, her scrapping. The ship would be owned by the German shipping company North German Lloyd. Built in 1906 by the German shipbuilders A.G. Volkenstetten, she was the last of a series of 4 liners constructed for North German Lloyd and the final German liner to feature 4 smokestacks. The ship was born out of the intense competition between Germany and the United Kingdom for dominance on the North Atlantic. Her older sister, the Kaiser Wilhelm der Große, had been launched in 1897 and was an immediate success. As mentioned earlier, the Kronprinzessin Cecilie would be the last of the 4 Kaiser-class liners. Her sister ships included the SS Kaiser Wilhelm der Große, the SS Kronprinz Wilhelm, and the SS Kaiser Wilhelm II. Now, let's take a closer look at the Kronprinzessin Cecilie. She measured 215.29 meters, which is 706 feet 4 inches in length, with a beam of 22 meters, which is again 72 feet 2 inches. She had a gross registered tonnage of 19,400 tons. She was powered by 4 quadruple expansion steam engines, 2 per shaft, driving 2 screw propellers, allowing her to cruise comfortably at 23 knots. The ship was designed with 287 first-class cabins, 109 second-class cabins, and 7 compartments for steerage passengers. She could accommodate 775 first-class, 343 second-class, and 770 steerage passengers, bringing the total capacity to 1,888. A crew of 679 supported this, including 229 stewards and stewardesses, along with 42 cooks, pantry workers, barbers, hairdressers, and other staff dedicated to passenger service. Now, the ship had some amazing interiors, for example. The first-class smoking room aboard the Kronprinzessin Cecilie was a richly decorated gentleman's lounge in the modern Roman style. Its walls displayed painted panels of Mecklenburg with polished wood, gilded fittings, and mirrors adding warmth and light. Upholstered chairs and card tables were arranged in small groups, creating an intimate setting where first-class men gathered after dinner to smoke, drink, and play cards late into the night. The first-class dining room was one of the grandest spaces on the ship, designed to impress with a lofty, double-height ceiling and seating for several hundred passengers. It was decorated in a refined Louis XVI style, with light-colored paneling, gilded details, and tall windows that filled the room with daylight. Chandeliers hung above long rows of white linen tables, while elegant columns and balconies emphasized its spaciousness. This was the social heart of first class, where passengers dined on elaborate multi-course meals, accompanied by music from the ship's orchestra. The first-class drawing room was a stylish social lounge for relaxation and conversation, located near the dining and smoking rooms. It was decorated in a light, elegant, Louis XVI influenced style, with wood paneling, gilded details, and large windows that let in plenty of daylight. Comfortable upholstered chairs, settees, and small tables were arranged in intimate clusters, encouraging quiet conversation, reading, or afternoon tea. Often live piano music added a refined atmosphere. The Vienna Café for smokers was a stylish, relaxed lounge where first-class passengers, mostly gentlemen, could enjoy coffee, pastries, and cigars in comfort. Decor mirrored the elegance of the main Vienna Café, with light wood paneling, mirrored walls, gilded accents, but seating was arranged for small groups to encourage conversation. Gentlemen often gathered here in the late afternoon or evening to smoke, chat, read newspapers, or play cards, enjoying a quieter and more private alternative to the main social spaces. The grand staircase was the centerpiece of the ship's first-class public spaces, designed to impress passengers as soon as they boarded. It featured sweeping marble steps, polished wood banisters, and ornate wrought iron railings, with elegant decorative details in gilding and carved wood. Large windows or skylights above filled the space with natural light, highlighting the ship's refined craftsmanship. The staircase connected the main decks, leading to the first-class lounges, dining room, and promenade, serving as both a practical passage and a social focal point where passengers could pause, admire the decor, and meet one another. The ship, named after Crown Princess Cecilie of Prussia, was launched by her father-in-law, German Emperor Wilhelm II. In July 1907, the Kronprinzessin Cecilie was scheduled to embark on her maiden voyage from Bremerhaven. However, before she could depart, the ship sank in the harbor. After being pumped out and repaired, she finally set sail on the 6th of August. The liner sailed on North German Lloyd's transatlantic route, departing from Bremen and occasionally stopping at ports such as Boston and New Orleans. In 1914, while returning to Germany from America under Captain Charles Pollack, who had taken over from Dietrich Hogemann in 1913, the ship learned of the outbreak of war. Aboard were 1,216 passengers, including some British reservists, along with $10,679,000 in gold and $3 million in silver. Approaching Liverpool, the vessel was ordered to turn back to the nearest port in neutral United States waters to avoid capture by the British Navy and French cruisers. Captain Pollack, fully aware of the risk of confiscation if he attempted to sneak into the Baltic Sea, made a decisive choice mid-Atlantic. He would turn his ship back toward the still neutral United States. To minimize the risk of detection, he requested volunteers to repaint the liner's buff funnels with black tops. His clever plan was that if a British ship spotted a four-funneled liner with black-topped buff funnels, it might mistake the Kronprinzessin Cecilie for the White Star Line's Olympic. Not all passengers were pleased with this reversal. Some were outraged at the thought of returning to America, and a few American millionaires even offered to buy the ship so she could sail under the American flag and navigate European waters safely. Others, however, delighted in the unexpected adventure. Thanks to Pollock's ingenuity, the liner reached the American coast without incident, docking safely at Bar Harbor, Maine. Locals were astonished to see the Olympic anchored in their tiny port, none the wiser that it was actually the German liner. The British, aware of the valuable cargo aboard the Kronprinzessin Cecilie, now had no idea where she had gone. Meanwhile, Bar Harbor residents had telegraphed New York to inquire about the Olympic, only to be told she was safely berthed at her usual Pier 59. When the British learned the news, they realized that the second Olympic was in fact the Kronprinzessin Cecilie, now beyond their reach. A week later, the ship was escorted to Boston, where she and her crew were interned. The Germans believed the United States to be a secure refuge for one of their most advanced merchant vessels. Their confidence, however, proved misplaced. In 1917, the United States entered the war on Britain's side, and all German ships in American harbors were seized. Among them were the massive 54,000-ton Vaterland, Kaiser Wilhelm II, Kronprinz Wilhelm, and the Kronprinzessin Cecilie. The only sister ship not taken was the Kaiser Wilhelm der Große, which had already been sunk in 1914. During the war, the Kronprinzessin Cecilie was seized by the United States on the 3rd of February 1917. The ship was commissioned on the 28th of July 1917 and renamed USS Mount Vernon, after George Washington's Virginia estate. The ship was outfitted in Boston to transport troops and military supplies across the Atlantic to Europe. The Mount Vernon set out from New York for Brest on 31st October 1917, embarking on her first U.S. Navy transatlantic voyage. During the war, she successfully completed 9 trips, carrying American troops to the European front. In the early hours of the 5th of September 1918, while returning in convoy about 200 nautical miles off the French coast, her number 1 gun crew spotted a periscope roughly 500 yards off her starboard bow. The transport fired immediately at the German U-boat U-82, which submerged but still managed to launch a torpedo. Despite the officer of the deck ordering right full rudder, the ship could not evade the torpedo, which struck amidships. The blast knocked out half her boilers, flooded the midsection, and claimed 36 lives while injuring 13 sailors. Undeterred, Mount Vernon's guns continued to fire at the U-boat, and her crew deployed depth charges. Damage control teams worked heroically to save the vessel. Their efforts succeeded. She limped into Brest under her own power. After temporary repairs, the transport returned to Boston for full restoration. On 17 October 1919, the Mount Vernon was transferred to the War Department for operation by the Army Transport Service and assigned to the Army's Pacific Fleet at Fort Mason in San Francisco. Between March and July 1920, the Mount Vernon undertook a single voyage to Vladivostok, Russia, carrying elements of the Czechoslovak Legion for disembarkation at Trieste, Italy, along with 300 German prisoners of war destined for Hamburg, Germany. After completing this mission, the ship was returned to the United States Shipping Board and laid up at Solomon's Island, Maryland. At the outbreak of World War II in 1939, the Americans offered the former Kronprinzessin Cecilie to the British for use as a troop transport. The offer was declined, as the ship was considered too old for service. She was subsequently scrapped in Boston, Massachusetts, with demolition beginning on the 13th of September 1940. And that's the full story of the SS Kronprinzessin Cecilie, an ocean liner that saw luxury, intrigue, and war in equal measure. From her elegant first-class lounges and grand staircase, to her daring escape to the United States, and finally her service as USS Mount Vernon, she truly lived a remarkable life on the seas. Though she no longer cuts through the Atlantic waves, her story remains a fascinating chapter in maritime history.
And that marks the end of a video, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that would help out the channel a lot. Now, if you have any thoughts, comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below, as I absolutely love reading your comments. And please let me know in the comment section down below as well what ships you would like me to cover in the future. Now be as well sure to check out our social media pages. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and we also recently have a website, oldshippinglines.com, where we have articles of the ships we cover and we have book reviews as well. I think you will enjoy the website very much. Now, with that out of the way, guys, I wish you all a good night or day, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will see each other on the next video. Goodbye, my friends.